It's about my mother.
Don't tell me that you want her to move in with us.
That's not happening, Melanie.
How about you move out and go live with her?
You two don't get it. This family's dead to me.
What?
Trouble Busters!
Melanie, how much salt did you put in here? Are you trying to kill me?
I'm sorry about that. That was not my intention at all.
I wish that my son had married someone like our next-door neighbor. She has 3 kids, such a great wife to her family.
I guess Melanie and I aren't a good fit.
Have you given divorce a thought? It's not too late to find yourself a better wife. Melanie, if you have time to waste on those drawings of yours, I suggest that you make some time to produce offspring too.
Ugh. My name is Melanie, and I've been married to my husband, Ken, for 5 years now. We live with his mother, and she's not very nice to me. Ken knows this, but he won't do anything to help me. We've been trying to have children, but have been unsuccessful up until now, and it was stressing me out. Another thing that was worrying me was that my own mother was starting to show symptoms of dementia. I'm gonna go visit my father's grave.
Well, come home as soon as you're done.
I might be spending a few days with my mother. She's not feeling well, and I want to take care of her.
Whatever. Just get back as soon as you can.
Okay. My mother might have dementia. I'm taking her to the hospital so that she can get some tests run. I'll come home as soon as I can.
Dementia? I want nothing to do with that.
What?
Same here. You deal with it on your own.
Ken, she's my mother. How can you be so cold to her?
But I'm not related to her. I feel nothing for her.
Did you know that in the past, brides left their parents thinking that she would never see them again?
Don't you remember how helpful she was when we built this house? How can you say that?
That's besides the point, Melanie. Now that you're married to Ken, you're a part of this family. You need to prioritize us over your mother.
Oh, your mom is already in a wheelchair. If she has dementia too, what does she have to look forward to in life?
Ken, stop being so cruel. She's my mother and I care for her very much.
Whatever. You can go see your mother now.
Yes, I'm leaving. I'm glad that the weather was so nice today. It was a good time to visit Father's grave.
Yes, I agree.
You have a reservation at the hospital. We need to make our way after lunch.
Why do I need to go to the hospital?
Remember I told you that we need you to go for a checkup? You're showing early signs of dementia, and I'm worried.
Oh, I don't seem to remember.
She's so forgetful these days. As I predicted, my mother had dementia. I knew that I need to be close to my mother to take care of her, but I was afraid that Ken, his mother, wouldn't be so understanding.
Melanie, the soup you made tonight doesn't taste like anything. When are you gonna learn to make decent meals?
There's something that I need to discuss with you both.
What is it? Don't tell me that you're going to ask me to start preparing all of our meals. If that's what you're going to ask me, the answer is no. Cooking is your responsibility. You need to learn how to cook. I'm not going to be around forever.
Actually, it's not that. It's about my mother.
Don't tell me that you want her to move in with us.
That's not happening, Melanie.
She's already in a wheelchair and has now been diagnosed with dementia. I can't let her live by herself. It's too dangerous, and there's plenty of room here. I can have her dine separately, and it'll be like she's not even here.
This is my house, and I don't want your mother living with us. She's practically a stranger to me.
Well, my mother and I can share a room. That way, we won't be using up too much space.
So you're going to sleep with your mother and leave me all alone? No way. That's not happening.
She's my mother, and I'm worried about her. If you're not going to let her live with us, I'm going to have to stay with her from time to time.
If you don't stop harassing us about this, I'm going to divorce you.
How can you say that, Ken?
Melanie, you're Ken's wife. Your main concern should be about keeping him happy. I wouldn't feel safe around your mother if she has dementia. She's not welcome at this house anymore.
There's plenty of room here and there are some rooms that we don't even use.
That's besides the point. I wouldn't feel comfortable in my own home if your mother lived here with us.
Ever since my father passed away, my mother has been living by herself. I'm an only child in her only family.
If I knew that you were going to do this, I would have never married you.
I agreed to live with your mother. Why can't you do the same for me?
Let's change the subject. As long as my mother doesn't agree, I can't say yes either.
Listen to Ken. He's your husband. He knows what's right for this family. Stop being so selfish. You're not being a good wife to Ken right now.
Will you at least let me stay with my mother from time to time?
We need you here. I don't want to talk about this anymore. We plan on having kids soon. You won't be able to take care of both your children and mother at the same time.
I can take care of my family. That won't be a problem. I didn't like my mother-in-law, but I still made the effort to get along with her. But she made it almost impossible for me because she was always so mean to me.
If you're so desperate to have your mother live with us, I might allow it if you get down on your knees and beg.
What?
Mom, even if she got down on her knees and begged, I still wouldn't want to live with her mother. I don't want her in our house. She's gonna get confused and poo in the wrong place. I can't have that.
Because of all this unpleasant talk, this mediocre food tastes worse than usual.
Do you want to go grab a bite at a restaurant?
Melanie, please do something about all this food.
I can't believe those two. I won't forgive them for their behavior. I don't want to be a part of this stupid family anymore. I'm the only one that can protect and take care of my mother. I'm gonna trouble Buster Ken and his mother. I'm home.
Thank you for having me. What?
Melanie, what's going on here?
Melanie, I asked you not to bring your mother here. She's not welcome here.
How could you go against our wishes like this?
I need to take my mother to the hospital today, but I forgot my smartphone. I came to get it, that's all. We'll be out of your hair soon.
Does this mean that anytime your mother needs to go to the hospital, you're going to accompany her?
That's right. I still get all the housework done, so I don't see how that would be a problem.
You're not paying for hospital fees, are you?
I am, but with my own money. I make money by making those drawings that you detest so much.
I don't believe that you can make decent money with those drawings. You must be using some of Ken's money too. Why can't you put your mother in an institution?
This is my mother we're talking about. I'll decide what's best for her. And don't you realize that it costs even more money to put her in an institution? Are you willing to pay for it?
Of course not. Why in the world would we do that?
Then stop complaining to me.
We just don't think it's fair that you're prioritizing your mother over us. You're my wife. Your main priority should be me and my mother. Can't you use the money that you inherited from your father to pay for an institution for your mother?
I'm holding onto the money for an actual emergency. I can take care of my mother now.
You shouldn't be wasting your inheritance on your mother.
Good point. I agree.
Your mother only has a few good years left. She should be thankful that her daughter lives nearby.
Why won't you let me take care of my own mother? Ken, if this were happening to your own mother, you'd be more concerned.
Melanie, we're only being honest. No need to get so angry.
How about you move out and go live with her then? I bet you won't do it though. You don't have the guts.
Ken, I think that was a mistake for you to get married to Melanie. She can't even produce any offspring. How useless. It won't matter to Ken even if you two get divorced because he's a catch, but I can't say the same for you. I know that Ken can find himself a new wife in no time.
I'm okay with that, but in that case, I need you to pay me back what you owe me. It's the least that you can do for me.
What are you talking about?
Remember when? Is everything all right?
Let me be frank, we have no intention of taking care of you. Wait, lazy people get dementia.
What?
If your life was full of excitement, your brain would remain young and healthy.
Stop it! I couldn't believe the words coming out of my mother-in-law's mouth.
Now leave, we never want to see you again.
That's right. You can go now.
We will. You two don't get it. This family is dead to me.
You're not gonna be able to live without my financial support. If you apologize to me now and promise me that your mother won't be bothering us anymore, I'll forgive you.
No thank you. I'm moving out for good.
Are you sure about this? This is your last chance.
You're both gonna regret this.
What? I don't think so. You're the one that's going to have a problem paying for your living expenses. You're going to miss living with us.
Why are you so horrible to my daughter? She's been nothing but good to you. Melanie, you don't need to put up with this. I won't anymore. Let's go, Mom. I wanted you to have a happy marriage.
It's normal for the wife to listen to her husband after they're married. I think that you should have raised Melanie more properly so she grew up with some sense and manners.
You want to talk. Look at the way Ken is treating Melanie.
He has no respect for her.
You're going to forget that this conversation even took place, so what's the point in talking about this?
How can you be so rude?
My mother may have dementia, but her symptoms are mild. Stop treating my mother like she's insane.
If that's the case, you really need to take care of her. Who's going to take care of this house after you move out?
I'm not your housekeeper.
Seeing that your mother is fine, we won't allow you to move out.
You're the one that's been pressuring me to move out. You're not making any sense.
We were only joking, Melanie. We didn't think that you would take it seriously and actually try to move out.
I don't care if it was a joke or not. I'm moving out and I'm not changing my mind about this.
Ken, let her leave. We can go on without her.
I guess you're right, Mom. Good riddance if you ask me.
Melanie, go pack up your things.
I've already done that. There wasn't much here that belonged to me, which made me realize that this really wasn't my home.
Well, goodbye then, Melanie. We never want to see you again.
Melanie, I'm so sorry about this. This is all my fault. This isn't your fault, Mom. If anything, I'm thankful that you gave me a reason to leave that dreadful house. I did always think that Ken and his mother were odd, but I didn't think they were mean too. I should have never let you marry Ken. You wouldn't have had to go through all of this if you hadn't. I should have known better than to marry someone like Ken. I told myself that I would do everything in my power to protect my mother. She took care of me all these years, now it was my turn to take care of her. Troublebusters! I wonder who this letter is from.
Sign these divorce papers and submit them ASAP. I never want to see you again.
What an asshole. Well, he's getting the punishment that he deserves. I can't wait to get divorced from him. That's all for today. If you have any illustration requests, please send them to me. That was a good session. Mom, you're so smart for suggesting that I put up my drawings on YouTube, and I'm glad that your dementia isn't getting worse.
I love watching YouTube videos, and I knew that the audience would love seeing you work on your illustrations.
Since I opened my YouTube channel, I've had a steady flow of new users, and I'm having so much fun making the videos. Yes?
Melanie, What were you thinking?
What are you talking about?
I received the documents you sent me. What is going on?
If you read the documents, you'll know.
I'm coming over now to discuss this.
We've been expecting you. Please come in. What is it that you want to talk to us about?
Your place is much nicer than we expected.
My mother likes to collect sculptures. They're beautiful, aren't they? You never came here the whole time that we were married. Even when my husband passed away, you two didn't bother to come to his funeral.
What is this? An interrogation? More importantly, why are you evicting us from our home?
Did you not read the documents that I sent you? We were putting the house up for sale.
What gives you the right to do that? Where are we supposed to live?
Why don't we take this opportunity to talk about the division of our assets?
Division of assets? You must be joking. There's nothing to split between us.
Huh?
I left you in charge of our money. Where did it all go? Did you spend it? Were you lying about making money off of your illustrations?
Melanie, you have a lot of explaining to do. Where did all of my money go?
Ken, you were smart to divorce this woman. She's a fraud.
What would you like to know? I haven't done anything wrong.
Oh?
I gave all the money I earned to your mother.
Huh?
Don't you remember asking me for a monthly allowance? You said that you would kick me out of the house if I didn't give you the money.
I had no idea.
Your mother's a gambling addict.
You promised me that you wouldn't tell Ken about this. But that doesn't explain why our money is gone. Don't try to change the subject.
I'm not. This is one of the reasons why there's no money left.
Well, get on with it. We don't have all the time in the world.
The other reason is because I've been using the money to pay back Ken's debts.
Debts? What are you talking about? Ken, what did you need all the money for?
Well,
He didn't want you to know this, but before we got married, Ken also had a gambling problem and he went into debt because of it.
Is this true, Ken?
Melanie, that was not your secret to tell.
Well, you both asked me why the money was gone and I had to explain myself.
But shouldn't there be some money left over even after the debt payments?
You borrowed $80,000. That is a lot of money.
Was it that much?
Yes. If I only paid back small amounts each month, it would take me forever to pay back your loan. And because you weren't able to pay back the loan before we got married, your name is now on the blacklist.
Oh,
You're on the blacklist?
So, to answer your question, I used the money to pay off your debts as quickly as possible. I was using my own earnings for living expenses. Since your mother was using my money for gambling as well, we didn't have a very comfortable life, but oh well. So I'm sure you can understand why we have no savings. You still have debts amounting to $30,000, but I paid more than half of the original amount. I'll leave the rest to you.
$30,000. But Ken would get half of the rights to the house, right? Once you sell it, he's entitled to half of the profits. We can use that money to pay off his remaining debts.
that's a great idea, Mom.
Actually, that won't work.
Huh?
My mother purchased that house, and so she's a rightful owner.
I had no idea. So the house isn't even Ken's then?
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Well, since Ken is on the blacklist, we couldn't get a mortgage. That's why my mother offered to buy our house for us.
Oh, but I'm sure that he was the one that paid for the house, so technically it's his, right?
No, he's in debt for gambling. He doesn't have the money to buy a house. I did mention all this to Ken when my mother bought us the house, but I guess he wasn't paying any attention.
Ken, do you remember?
Actually, I don't.
I was planning on paying back my mother for the house eventually, but I had to pay off your debts first, so I hadn't gotten around to it yet. That's why I decided to sell the house. If you look at the documents carefully, you'll see that you both signed and agreed to pay back my mother.
I'm sorry to remember, actually.
You didn't seem too interested in the details as long as you got to live in that house. I only bought that house for Melanie, and now that she's no longer living here, there's no reason for me to keep it.
Well, could you hold off on selling the house? We'll have nowhere to live.
I don't think so. When I asked if my mother could move in with us, you both said no. I'm not going to help either of you out. You have 1 month to look for a new place to live. After that, you can live on the streets if you want to.
1 month? That's crazy, Melanie. We need more time.
That's right, Melanie. You need to give us more time.
I don't have to do anything. You kicked me out first, remember? Now it's your turn.
Please don't do this.
You have no right to ask me for favors. This is your punishment for mistreating my mother and I.
Will you let us stay with you until we find a new place to live in?
You have plenty of room, so I'm sure that it won't be a problem.
That's not possible. You two are not welcome here. You should have shown me kindness when I asked for help regarding my mother. Besides, you said that you didn't want to live under the same roof as my mother.
We feel differently now.
Well, I don't care. Now, if you two would be so kind to leave our home.
We used to be your family. How could you be so cruel?
I can say the same thing right back at you. I'm gonna sue you both for the emotional distress you caused me throughout my marriage.
We did no such thing. You're not going to win your case. Stop making things up.
I have evidence and I already hired a lawyer. He's very optimistic that I'll win.
Melanie, you know that I'm in debt. How can you sue me on top of that?
If you consider how much you made Melanie suffer these past few years, she has every right to sue you.
He also recorded today's conversation.
What?
One more thing. We're selling this house as well, so we wouldn't have been able to accommodate you even if we wanted to.
But why?
My mother has a country house for us to live in, and we're moving there. We're very excited to start our new lives in the countryside.
How many homes do you own?
My mother likes to invest in real estate. She owns many homes around the country. She has enough savings to last her lifetime. And I recently became a YouTuber and things are going really well for me too.
Well, what about us?
I have no idea, but it's not my problem. We're not family anymore, remember? You told me that you never wanted to see my face again, right? Well, I'll grant you that wish.
Melanie.
I think you should go home and start packing and looking for a new place to live. You don't have much time.
Melanie, please forgive us. We're so sorry.
It's too late for apologies. You should have treated me better. 1 month later, Ken and his mother started to live in their new place. It was a small, shabby one-room apartment. They also paid me alimony. I started my new life with my mother and we were happier than ever. I was still concerned about her health, but I decided to make the most of our time together. Ken had a difficult time paying back his debt and paying for his living expenses. He didn't earn that much. He called me several times asking me to loan him money, but I said no each time and blocked his number soon after that. Mom, the scenery here is beautiful. All this fresh air feels amazing. I agree. I'm glad that we moved here. I was hoping that spending time in nature would slow down my mother's dementia and we could continue our mother-daughter time for as long as possible. I was glad that I started working as a YouTuber because it is good money and I could work from home. Trouble Busters!